What a good day to be alive. Hey, you know
January
what? We
31st.
should start Monday mornings with the old Ed Foreman. I'm alive, I'm alert, and I feel great. Right?
I love it. Yes,
Yeah.
let's start
Hey,
it
if you
that
tell
way.
yourself a lie every day, you believe
We,
it, brother. You know what I'm saying?
hey, as long as we're breathing, we still got a chance.
We still got a chance. I like that. I like that. But yeah. Yeah. So Monday morning, DJ, it's the Monday morning that we're gonna bring you Mayhem Monday. We're gonna pick the topic live in just a second. To the HPLS podcast. Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly. That was like the like I just realized that totally sounded like a broadcaster. That whole voice and everything. So are you
I love
happy
it.
about the results last night in football?
Actually, yes, I am. Yes, I
Okay.
am. To see Joe Burrow, I mean, he is like the greatest. It's like one of the greatest stories ever. If you really, so being an LSU fan because of my in laws, got to see his journey and to see what he kind of came through, being seen as kind of nothing at my home state, Ohio State, seen as nothing and getting released from there, and then. LSU taking a chance on this kid, and he's everything. He's everything. I mean, he's as advertised. He is everything you see. It's
That's
crazy.
good. That's good.
So yeah, it's
It
gonna be
was
fun.
it was an interesting game. I mean, I think there was
How you come down from 21-3?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
That's crazy.
you look at the games that have transpired leading up till now, and the Buffalo game last weekend, and it was I think it
Yeah.
was last weekend. Last weekend, it was like they've been these like where your guts turning on the inside in the last
Yes.
couple of minutes, and it's like,
Oh,
holy crap, man! Is
they've
this
been great
like the
games. They
Buffalo
have been
game? I
great
think was
playoffs. I'll say that. They've
yeah.
been great. Oh
It's
my
going to be.
goodness.
It was a great playoffs, and it's going to be an insane Super Bowl. I think.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
hope.
I, I
I've seen so many Super Bowls where it's been this like crap
yeah,
blowout,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they're
yeah,
just not fun. And
yeah.
to be honest with you, I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is the halftime show.
Oh, the halftime
Dr.
show's
Dre,
gonna be.
Snoop,
Oh, come
Eminem,
on,
like,
that's crazy.
oh man, how are you not excited about this? Like, I grew up with these
This
guys, right?
this is
Like,
yeah, this is our generation's
this
like
is our
this is
generation, brother. When you get like Snoop and Dre back at it again, and then you got
this is
throw Eminem in the mix, and like
oh
it's
man,
yeah, yeah.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
There's a song called I think it's called "Bitch Please 2." And sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but that's the name of the song. And it is like it's the three of them in the song with I think it's Ludacris or something, and it is so good. Like it's a good tune because they just work off each other, right? And
Oh
I
yeah.
still I got my kids into that. I got my kids into Cypress Hill and all the stuff that we listened to when we were kids. It was awesome. But
Oh
all
dude,
right,
I
buddy, are
love
you
it. I
ready? Are
love
you
it.
ready to pick a topic for
I'm
today?
ready. I'm
Oh,
ready.
hold on.
Not
Ryan
not
says
leaving out the Rams either. Matthew Stafford, I love that dude. I'm glad to see him there. But
yes, yes. Got to figure out a way to tell my wife that we're spending Valentine's watching the Super Bowl. Ryan says,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
good,
Ryan.
good luck.
I've found
Hey,
the
if you
in
figure that out,
life,
Ryan, let
brother.
us all know.
Yeah, I've been married a long time. The best you can do is just come out and say it. It's like pulling off a band-aid, buddy. You just got to go. And here's the thing:
That's right. That's
if
right.
you if you just say the chips fall where they may, brother. But here's the thing: they're gonna fall where they're gonna fall anyways, because
Mhm.
you're gonna watch the Super Bowl. So you may as well just let the chips fall. I was saying to DJ off air, we had quite an interesting way to start the
Oh
weekend.
man. Yeah,
Woke up
yeah.
Saturday morning and the main pipe into the house is frozen. And call the city. The city's saying it's my issue. Call my buddy. It's an excavator. He says it'll be $5,000 minimum to dig up the pipe, and we got to find the pipe. We got to dig it up. We got to replace the section. We got to thaw it. Snow blow it out, and we got to know where it is. You got to call the city back to do this, and there's all these different things because so there's
Holy cow.
a water break at a curb break is what they call it.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call it in the U.S. In Canada, it's called a curb break, and it's where the main city water from the curb comes to my house. So they
Yep.
would shut that valve off, and that's where their liability ends. So literally,
Exactly.
like the 30 feet to my house plus in my house, and I'm saying to the plumber when he's over, I go, it's impossible. I go like this thing's buried 8 feet under the ground. Like I've lived here 19 years now. It's never frozen, but we have no water. We're literally
Yeah.
filling our biggest pots we
Wow.
can with snow, and we're melting it on the stove to flush the toilets. Like, it was a gong. So we got a puppy, a 9-week-old puppy, a dog. Like, dogs are running around. Things are going crazy. We're running around with pots and pans. It was like, you sit back and it was like
Oh, that's crazy.
sitcoms couldn't make anything funnier. Like, you just, so the plumber comes, and the plumber, we're in the basement or going through the basement, and the plumber's like, okay, the only place that your pipes can be frozen, because the only place the main line coming in is in my son's bedroom, the
Mhm.
only 15 feet. He goes, okay, because you got to rip out the drywall. I'm like, what? Because you got to rip out the drywall. I'm like, come on, dude. He goes, do you want to do that, or do you want to pay $5,000 for a guy
Indeed.
to?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
let me go get my drywall saw. So I
Hell
there's
yeah.
there's a cabinet in the corner of my son's room, because the main line comes in his room. So we had to like construct a custom cabinet around it, so you
Mhm.
can access the meter and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
right above that, there's about 9 inches before the top of this cabinet. So I'm like, I'm looking at this corner, and my son's like, "What are you thinking, Dad?" I go, "Watch this." And he's a fireman, so he knows, like I do. So just so everybody knows, I do some things that would make a lot of people cringe, and I'm like, "Hey, what's the worst that can happen?" Well, the friggin' house can burn down. I'm like,
Listen.
it's what insurance is for. But it's so I cut a hole in the wall, and I stick a ceramic heater in it. Like, I literally cut the hole out the size of the ceramic heater, and I
Oh my
stuff
goodness.
this thing in the hole, and I crank it full blast. My son's like, "Dad, bad idea." He goes, "This is like taking the we have a
Oh,
cast iron fire
starting a fire
stove in the
behind the
garage."
wall.
He's like, "That's like bringing that into the basement and putting it against the wall." I'm like, "What do you want me to do?" So
Yeah.
I put it in there. 4 hours later, like, my son has not blinked, staring at this thing. He's got
Oh, I'm
he's got the
sure.
big 20-pound fire extinguisher in his hand, like he's ready to go. And he 4 hours later, finally, I'm like, "Okay, we gotta go. We gotta dig up the front yard. Let's go." So I call my buddies, like, I'll load the excavator. I call the city. I say, "Come do the break so that we know where to dig."
Yeah.
Um, like, half hour later, my wife comes running out to the garage. She's like, "We have water. We have water." As the city guy's walking up the driveway, like,
No.
that's how close it was.
Oh my
Where it was
goodness.
$5,000 and the dude's
Yeah.
digging up my driveway. Like, 5 minutes later, my buddy comes around the corner with his excavator. I'm like, "Here's $100. I'm real sorry. We're done." And he's like,
Yeah,
"Dude,
yeah.
I'm actually happy for you, because I really didn't want to charge you." But like,
Oh, yeah.
4 hours, this thing, and it's funny,
Oh my goodness.
and I swear we'll get to Mayhem Monday here in a minute, everybody.
That's never
But the
given up.
lesson,
I like it though.
the
That's never.
lesson is 18 years I've been here, never had a pipe freeze, ever. The wind came in a certain way, and my neighbor, the same corner, he has pipes. His bathroom upstairs froze. It just so happened my
Yeah.
pipe in that corner was my
Okay.
main pipe. His is a bathroom pipe, because his main thing comes in the other side of his house.
So you guys had strong
So
winds coming from that way? Is that what
I,
it was?
I guess just the way the wind came in one way, I guess for night. I
Wow.
mean, I don't know. I don't even know what to say,
Crazy.
because
Well, you guys
it
have
is an
crazy
exterior
temperatures up
wall,
there.
but it's a basement wall.
Seeing that
Mhm.
count, what's the temperature up there right now? What do you guys have?
So it was minus, so it was like minus 22, 23 on Thursday night. It's been in the minus 20s every night. Like, I've had to literally jumpstart my snowmobiles. Like, you,
Oh my
it's cold
goodness.
when
Yeah.
your toy that is made to be
Made
in
for
sub-zero
yes,
temperatures don't
exactly.
start, right?
No, yeah,
And
that's the problem.
so yeah,
It's really
minus
cold.
20 would be, I don't know if somebody knows the whatever it is, minus 20
Fahrenheit
would
or
be,
whatever. Yeah.
gosh, I don't know, minus 12 or something, minus
Yeah.
13 in your, because 34
Oh
is
yeah.
zero for us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, something like that. But it's
Yeah.
it's
Holy
pretty
cow.
crazy, brother. It's pretty crazy. All right. Are you all set, man? You all set to
Let's do
pick a
it. Let's
topic?
do it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All
We're
right.
ready. We're ready. We're ready. No. No.
Oh,
No.
now
Oh.
come on, DJ.
Oh.
You're
Come
you're like
on.
you're
I
like
wanted
Joe.
the
Wait
end.
till the end here.
I
Come on.
wanted the end. Oh, right there. Right there. Forget it. I'll take right there.
Mm. Your personality matters.
Hey.
Well, there you go. I mean, listen,
I'll take-
if anyone doesn't like to smile, they don't want to do business with DJ.
That's
Let's
right.
call
Yeah.
a spade,
Hey,
brother.
yeah, yeah. If my
You
smile
got
annoys you, you're not going to talk to me. I'm telling you right now.
exactly. If you don't want to
You're gonna
smile,
hate
if you
me.
don't want to laugh, if you don't want to have a good time, DJ's not your sales guy. That's just
No,
it. If you want to be a cranky poo, if you want to, I hate my
yeah,
job, DJ will be like, see you later. So
yeah.
your personality matters. I've a couple of things that I wrote down here, DJ. Always be you. No one buys a logo. Transparency is key.
Oh,
You know,
that's so, and especially for this, I think that's great. The nobody, we're gonna get to the nobody buying a logo because I had some conversations about non competes and that, I mean that's the greatest example of it. I mean, these companies, Steam Logistics. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the ones like blowing this up on LinkedIn about non competes and really being against it. But I mean, come on, guys. I mean, the when your employees, when your agents are landing these customers and they're doing work with them, they're not. I don't care what. I had every single customer tell me that. Every single one that wanted to follow me, maybe couldn't follow me or did follow me. They said, I'm not doing work with them. I don't care where you're at. I'm doing work with DJ. So that's yeah.
hmm well,
I agree.
it's the whole non-compete thing. That's a show in its own.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I've always seen it as, let me explain it this way. I have never in my life seen a non-compete hold up. Now, some of you might have. I'm in
Mm,
Canada, to the point where I remember when I was at an asset-based company, we had a gentleman who was like a co-owner of the insurance broker.
mm,
And shout out to Ross, my man, great guy, knows his stuff. We went with him. Through a turn of events, he decided to stop working with this company, and him and his wife opened their own company.
mm.
And he wasn't like, so he was in the on the board, like high. I mean, and we're talking
Yeah, he's up
hundreds
there.
of $1 million company, like
Jeez,
not a
big
small
company. Yeah.
brokerage company, like insurance broker. He went to court, and the judge said one thing. He goes, "Listen, to the people that were suing him, you can't stop this guy from making a living. Like no
Mm,
one can stop you from making a living." And he goes, non-compete or not, he goes like, no, no. And I mean, I haven't. Maybe there has been some. I've heard of companies where non-competes have buried people before they've actually convicted
Well,
them, if it makes
in
sense,
the
right?
in
Like,
the in the in the end, the companies, and I know we're going way off topic, so we'll get back to
yes,
personality. But in the end, the companies are really they just. It's not that they don't want you to do the work; they're just trying to take your customers. It's just the
yeah.
customers in the end. I mean, that's what it
It's
is.
all about the dollar,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like
yeah.
really, and it's sad. It is,
It is. Is what it
but
is.
it is what it is. Yeah.
That's right.
So
Is what it
always be
is.
you. No one buys a logo. Transparency is key. So,
Yes.
how many of you have ever turned on a video camera to record your first kind of intro video or something to a customer, and you're like, "Hi, my name is Dan D." No, that's not right. Hi, my name. No, that's not right. Hey, I'm Dan D. No, I sound like a dick. Right? It's just you're not
Oh
you.
yeah.
And I think the same thing happens when we pick up the phone to sell. When we first start selling, it's like the day we settle into ourself, um, in sales, I think is the day we truly turn a corner. Where we can pick up
Yeah.
the phone and I
Repeat
can talk.
repeat that again. Repeat that again because
So
that is
the
so
day we
dang
settle
true.
into ourselves is, I think, the day we turn the corner in sales.
Yeah.
So DJ, you and I are talking before, and we're pretty much exactly the same way we are right now. We're
Yeah.
live, we're
Yeah.
broadcasting out to multiple channels, the ability to reach hundreds of millions of people if they knew who we were.
If
Um,
they can. If
like
they can,
it is
if
what
they
it
want to
is.
see the big teeth and
Well, you're still
you know,
smiling like chiclets on something about Mary. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
that's
there's all that going on. And it's not like the camera goes on and we're like, none of that.
yeah,
You are who
that's
you
it.
are.
That's
And
right.
I think the sooner as a salesperson you realize that and be who you are. Like I told you a story about my buddy who knows baseball. That and he says like, listen, do you like baseball? No. All right, well, I suck at sales, so I probably wouldn't be able to help you. But if they like baseball, every single thing that he sells, he turns into a baseball analogy. Like every single service failure, every single rating, like everything is a baseball analogy.
Well, and
And
he's doing it so smart. I mean, just
yeah,
leading with that. If they like baseball, then he knows they have commonality there.
oh
In the
yeah,
end, it's about finding common ground.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, he'll be like, he'll bring up a guy that sucked at batting, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden
yeah.
got better or whatever, and he's like, that's kind of my sales career. And but the analogy, because if they like the sport, they'll understand his analogies.
Understand his
He
stuff. Yeah,
he
yeah.
literally, I
I love
mean,
it.
and you should, I mean, this guy was awesome to listen to. I don't know very much about baseball. I won't pretend I do. But I'm listening to him and I'm like, shit. And of course, then as a salesperson that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
consistently striving, it's like, how do I use that like for what I like? You know what I mean? Like how do I create the same
Yeah,
strategies and
yeah,
analogies for what I like? But so it's being you. And really,
yeah,
if we can just tone it down, I probably, and I'm not sure about when you first started, because I know you've been in a lot of different sales careers, but when you first started
yeah,
selling,
yeah.
like realizing the people we're selling to, they put their pants on one leg at a time too. And
Exactly.
the biggest thing is, in my opinion, is that customer profile, is dealing with people that you like to deal with, which of course,
Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
you're going to get along with certain people better than others. You're going to connect with certain people. Your relationships are going to grow faster than they would with other people. And it's the most important thing, I think. And
Great.
you know, Ryan said it right here. He goes, "Yes, I do the same, except not with baseball, with dogs."
Yeah,
Right? Jeff
exactly.
Jeff's talking about the convoy and the border.
Uh,
Jeff, I don't know if I've heard of the border being shut down.
the board, really? I
The
didn't hear
border, I
that
don't know.
either.
I haven't heard of that. That's interesting.
That
I'll have to research
I wouldn't
that
doubt it
after.
though, because I heard there's more trucks. I know we're getting off topic with this, but I wouldn't doubt it though. I heard there's more trucks that are supposed to come from Washington.
Yeah, but if you're fully vaccinated, they'll
Well,
let you
yeah,
through.
but that's what they're probably trying to close it down then, because they're allowing those fully vaccinated, because those are the only ones.
Oh,
You see
yeah,
what I'm
that
saying?
makes sense because they don't
Those
want
are
it to
the
turn into a shit show. I mean,
yeah.
it's already, if you've seen some of
No,
the footage of it, was like the amount of people, it's insane. But it's
it's crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Ryan, nothing has changed for my business. We did 12 trucks into Quebec over the weekend. Yeah, so it doesn't. I mean, listen, there
It-
might be
oh,
a
it's
few
going to
more
affect certain things.
questions being asked. Why is your truck not loaded and you're coming into Canada, kind of thing. But I know, there was no fuel at quite
I
a few
see that.
gas
I've seen
stations
that too.
this weekend. And when they were asked why, they said the trucks didn't show up, and then the trucks were reported being in the convoy. So like just even fuel delivery trucks, like nothing to do with crossing the border or anything, just fuel delivery trucks, which
Mhm.
in Canada you don't need to be vaccinated for that. It's like a border thing, right? But
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah,
off topic.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't really want to get into
Well, here we'll
that
get back
topic
on topic
because
with this.
it's yeah.
A quote that
So no one buys
probably
a logo.
yeah no. Well, let's do this first. Oscar Wilde, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." I seen that. I
Oh,
seen that quote and I was like, yeah, that. I mean, I seen that a long time ago, and I was like, yeah, why? I'm trying to be. Yeah, sales, especially new people, new salespeople out there, wherever you're working at, who you're working for, whatever you're doing. Uh, don't take advice. Obviously, you're always learning. I learn from everybody and anybody. I learned sales things from my 5-year-old. If you look hard enough, you'll find little advice. But and success leaves clues. I've heard that saying, and
100%.
that's so true. But
When I first got into this industry, I sat with the top salesman at the company I worked at, and within a month, I was him.
yeah, yeah,
Like I truly tried to be him. And as sad as it sounds to a lot of people, it
and
was like
that's
that guy was successful if I like Tony Robbins always often said, model success. But the
yes.
the
But
differentiating
you got
factor that we need to interpret is not model the person, model the
exactly. Yeah,
strategies. Like,
bang. Yep.
if they
Be
post
yourself,
5
though.
times a day at these times and they get, thousands of likes and then look at what they're
Look
doing,
at what they're doing,
put it
but
in,
don't be
create a
them.
DJism for it
Yeah,
and
yeah,
make it DJs, but
yeah.
don't model the person. Like I literally modeled the person, and
I did too.
I
I
I,
did
I
too. I
misunderstood
did too.
what it meant by modeling success, right?
Yeah,
Because I wasn't me. Like I literally would flip
it
a
wasn't
switch
me.
and become him. And it
Yeah.
was funny because I had friends that are like, "Who the fuck
Who
do you
are
think
you?
you are? Like who
Yeah.
are you?" Like, but it's true, right? And I mean, personally, I didn't see it because I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm doing good in business. I'm getting stuff done." But it was
Yeah.
getting it done in the way that he got it done, which
Which is
wasn't
not you.
a method for long-term consistent life vitality. Let's just put it that way.
Yes. Yes.
But
And happiness in the end. I mean,
oh, yeah.
were you happy? I was not happy trying to be somebody else
You
in
know what, DJ?
that I thought.
I think I thought I was,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Like
I
you
agree.
think
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
I've
think
had
you
that
are. You think you are until it's like
until you're
a
like, what the?
good friend or somebody comes and says, "Hey, like listen, man, like
Yeah.
and kind of lays it on the line. And here's the thing, right? A lot of it also goes back to perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we individually believe in our heart of hearts, like I'm not going into religion, but if you go to religion, you go to like a Mormon versus a Christian versus a Protestant versus
Yeah. Baptist,
a
Lutheran.
Jewish person versus Islam, like
Yeah. Yeah.
every that's their perspective and it's their reality, and there's
And it's their
no
belief. Listen,
you
and in the end, it's their
myself
belief.
exactly no, I don't care who you are, you're not changing that reality. Like my son is working to be an electrician, so he's an apprentice, and one of the contracts they have is with a company that hires Mennonites to do the work.
Mm,
Okay,
okay.
so Mennonites, from what my son's telling me, it's the church that determines like if they're allowed to drive, if they're allowed cell phones and all this kind of stuff. So there was one Mennonite on a job site, and he says, and my son was like, "Oh, you drove?" He goes, "I didn't." He goes, "No, no, no." He goes, "It all depends on the church you go to." He goes, "So listen, I run a company. I run this company where it's like he has a bunch of workers that work from that build barns and stuff, right? And they're
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
very skilled tradesmen."
Oh yeah.
And he said, "I had to change churches." So he goes, "It took me like almost 2 years to convince my wife and her parents that we need to
Wow.
change churches." He goes, "Because I needed a church that was going to let me drive and have a cell phone to run my business."
Mm,
Right, so it's based, but that is their
yeah.
perspective. So it took him
Yeah.
2 years to change that his wife's dad's perspective. So you think about it, as a dad,
Yeah.
your daughter marries somebody, you want to be able to support that person in
Yeah.
every way possible because the men work, you know what I mean, like to
Yeah.
support
They're
your
now.
daughter.
Yeah, they're
And he
now
wouldn't
taking.
change
Yeah.
churches for 2 years. So again, perspective. Everyone that comments on the show has a perspective. That is their perspective. We have
Absolutely.
ours.
Yeah.
Our perspectives are very similar. So is a lot of people on the show. Hence, the people like the show.
Yeah.
Perspective,
Yeah.
right? So it's this, like, you know, it's just, for me, everything comes back to that,
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, if I tried to pretend to be somebody I wasn't, convince me, you tell yourself a lie every day, eventually you believe it. It's just a
Yeah.
reality of it, right? And it's like, that isn't me, but I try to make it me because I'm being successful, or I'm gaining success. I don't know if you
Yeah.
can call that successful because it's not you. And the
Yeah.
question is, how long can it last? Right? Because it's not
Yeah.
you. It's
Exactly.
conflict with your inner being, your inner
Absolutely.
core.
Oh
It's a
yeah. I've
major
lived it. I've
conflict.
lived it. I've literally lived it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
With personality, I think it's a great qualifier as well as a customer fits in your. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Absolutely.
Customer profile.
Absolutely.
Do not mold yourself to fit a space where you do not belong. You will not be able to sustain the personality that opened up the door. It will fail when you.
Bingo.
Yes,
Oh
that's
yes. That's
bingo,
that's
Jeff.
a that's a boom there, Jeff. That's
That's
a
a
boom.
boom. That's
That's a
boom. We're about to
boom.
get a capital boom all over the place here. That is, and 100%,
Yeah.
because when your real self comes through,
It's easy.
often in
It's easy to be
high
you.
school and
It's
stuff.
really easy to be the true you. It's
Mhm.
very easy.
Like, have you ever heard in high school and stuff when somebody gets drunk, it's like their true self comes out? Or when
Ah.
somebody has a few too many, their true self comes out, and it's like, interesting. Okay, I understand now. I remember when at my first company, talking to the owner just before the Christmas dinner and stuff. And I'm like, "Do you like the Christmas dinner?" He's like, "No." He goes, "There's parts I like about it, and there's parts I hate about it." I go, "What do you hate about it?" He goes, "Everybody tries to tell me how to run the company." These people get drunk and are like, "You know what you should do?" And he's like, and he goes, "So now I got to listen to these people running the company," and it's just
Oh,
it's
that's
pretty
so
funny. But
funny. Yeah.
no one buys a logo. Let's talk about that for a minute,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I think we've nailed the transparency piece,
Of course.
into the coffin. We've nailed the always be you.
Yeah. Yeah.
At first I always thought, how could anyone buy me? Like,
Mm,
I'm a grade 9 dropout. I have no idea
mm,
what I'm doing. I'm literally bullshitting my way through everything before I started to really learn sales. Like, literally, I'm.
yep.
I, I would, yeah, and the person would be like, "Do you know what I'm talking about?" Oh, 100%, I know what you're talking about. I'm like
Absolutely.
flagging
Yeah.
the dude down in the pit. I'm like, dude, what does this mean? What does this mean? I'm like covering the photo. What the fuck does this mean, man? Like, it's like, but it's
Anybody new to sales, anybody new to sales who has that, because what I found was I always wanted to go there, like Dan's talking about. Always want, oh yeah, yeah, I know, and you have no fucking clue. Just tell the truth right away.
yeah,
Say, I don't, but I'll find out for you. And that's
Yep.
I went right to the Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness. Great movie. But right
Every
to that. Listen, I
salesperson should
don't, but
study
I'm
that
gonna find
movie.
the answer for you, and that's
Hmm.
they appreciate that.
Hmm.
They'll
And
appreciate that.
when we realize 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, they don't care about the company. Like, don't get me wrong. After you connect, it's like,
It's what
okay, is
opens the
your
doors,
company
though.
solid? Does your company have the credit to manage my business? Can they haul it? Can they? But when you first call,
Yeah,
it's like, it's you. It's
yeah,
you they're connecting with. Like all the customers we've had on this show when we did our full day stream event. Like all the customers, DJ, the first thing they said is like, what is your best foot? Like, what is it
yeah,
that you do the best out of everything else? That has nothing to do. Well, I guess it might have something to do with the company, but it doesn't have to do with the logo. Like your
yeah,
company might have a whack of freight going from, Miami, Florida to Chicago. And that might
yeah,
be great for some people, but if every person in your company is a dick and there's going to be carriers aren't going to want to work with you. It's just what it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
And it's not the logo, it's the people. And when I realized this was when I had a carrier call me because as you know, I've said from day one, like I tried to dedicate as much as I can to the people I liked.
Oh
Even
yeah,
when I really didn't know what I was doing, it was like I just looked at it and I said, okay, I would do way less work if I let somebody else do the work for me. And that's
yeah.
where dedication comes in. And I remember getting a call from one of my suppliers, and it was probably 5 years into my career. And he's like, Dan, listen, who is this person XYZ? And I'm like,
Oh
oh,
man.
they're down the hall from me. Why? What's going on? He goes, they're a fucking idiot. Like, I don't want to deal with them ever again. And I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
go, like the
Shit.
company? He goes, no. He goes, I don't give a shit about the company. He goes, the company pays my invoice when it's due. I'm good. He goes,
Yeah.
if you guys in the company are the individuals, and you look at these large brokerage companies, you look at
Yeah.
you know everyone on this call right now has people they like to deal with, right?
Yeah.
They're preferred carriers. If they're an asset-based company, they
Yes.
have preferred brokers. There's
Yes.
also other people where you bring, hey, use this carrier, they're like, they're idiots, I would never touch them with a 10-foot pole. And you're like, really? I've been dealing with them for 15 years, they've been awesome. Like,
Yeah.
so again, it's different.
Yes.
No one's ever going to be the same,
You're
but
doing
it's,
this if you
yeah,
listen,
yeah. And it's like, and it's the strategy or idea, I guess, that you find somebody you like and they deal with you.
yeah.
Reverse engineered logistics, a strategy I came up with for anyone that's new to sales or anyone that's looking to leave a company and start their own thing.
There's a
It's
great
the way to
video
go.
on there's a great video on Dan's channel, by the way, about reverse logistics.
Oh yeah, it was
YouTube.
2 weeks ago, I think, in my
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah,
video
yeah.
2 weeks
It's
ago.
a
Yeah,
good video.
and it's like, this is the way to start a business almost friction free. Right?
Yeah.
Like you go out, you pick your 5 top suppliers that you love working with, and you go in. Like I've got tons of people that call me and say, I want to be an agent. I want to start my own thing. And I'm like, okay, go out and get 5 to 10 people you love working with, establish credit with them, and figure out where they need help
And then figure out
and
where
make
they
calls
need.
in those
Yeah.
lanes. It's
There
it's
it is.
it's simple. I mean, it's not easy, don't get me wrong, but the
No,
strategy
no.
is simple. You,
Yeah.
you build the relationship, you have a relationship with people. Like I can't tell you how many times I called on my core suppliers and say, listen, I'm in a friggin' pickle. Can you help me? And they're like, okay, like, can you pay me 2 grand? I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. Just help me out. Okay, no problem. And they've made miracles happen. And in the
Exactly.
end, made me look
But
really
that's by
good.
building the relationship. Build that
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
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 And
Ryan says,
Ryan through. Oh gosh, this is great. Go ahead.
yeah, Ryan says, I don't know how to bake a cake, but I'll find you the best baker in the city. Yes,
Exactly.
sir. And you know what, Ryan? Here's the thing with a cake. There's all these different ingredients that go into making a cake. And I remember
Yeah.
Bob Proctor saying to me, he goes, Dan, all those ingredients are the ingredients that go into life. He goes, you don't hear anybody come into your house, you give them a piece of cake, they go, man, this is awesome flour. Oh, what great egg. Oh, this is
Yeah.
great sugar.
It's
No,
great cake.
this is a great cake. But what's a
Yeah.
cake? It's all these different
Made
ingredients.
up.
And Ryan, you're part of that ingredient, right? And who
That's
you
it.
associate with is part of that ingredient that makes the whole cake. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And nowhere in there is there a logo.
Yeah.
Nowhere. It's
Nope.
people. And like if it was a logo and you were talking, size and technical this and technical that,
Yeah.
the three big brokers of the world would have all the freight,
Okay.
right? Like if
Sure.
be honest, be
Absolutely.
transparent,
Absolutely. Yeah.
call a
Yeah.
spade a spade. Like
For sure.
they just would, because
Yeah.
they have more tech than us smaller guys. They have
Yeah. They have more
more
spending.
reach. They have more.
They have
That's
more.
like,
Yeah.
like
They have
nobody
everything.
else would exist if it was just logos. And
Yeah.
you know what? Even bigger than that, the person with the coolest logo would probably win, right? And it's like you met
Yeah.
Thomas when we were on this live stream.
Yeah.
Thomas's whole phrase is, "I sell the sizzle." He
Yes.
creates logos that go above people's buildings, right?
Yep.
So for restaurants and stuff. So he goes, I sell the sizzle. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but what if you sell the sizzle and they walk in and the food's shit? He goes, hey, that's up to them, man. I just got to make my
Yeah.
sign look good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because,
That's it. It's
but
all the
it's true.
ingredients, like you said. It's still all the ingredients.
All the ingredients, right? The
Yeah.
keg wouldn't be the keg. Ruth Chris wouldn't be Ruth Chris.
Yeah.
Schwartz in Chicago wouldn't be Schwartz. Like you
Yeah.
think of all these really great
The
restaurants,
experience. It's
and
the
I guess
experience, really.
yeah, probably Ruth Chris would be the one that probably spans the majority of US and Canada, probably over
Yeah. Yeah.
every other
Oh
major
yeah.
steakhouse.
Yep.
But you look at Ruth Chris and you look at the keg. If everybody just went for that spa, there would
Yeah.
be no keg, because
Yeah.
everybody would go have steak at Ruth Chris. My opinion, again,
No,
I personally like the keg better than Ruth Chris, but whatever.
I, yeah.
It's like I mean, what I'm really pissed off about is I don't know where all the Outbacks went in Canada, because that bloomin' onion's damn good.
Oh my
I mean, it's like
goodness!
9
I'm glad you
million
brought up
calories, but
Outback.
it's
Oh, the
so
blooming onion.
good.
Oh my goodness! And the Aussie cheese fries. That's a heart
Oh
attack in
yes,
itself.
yes,
But
yes, yes, yes.
listen,
So
listen.
if any from Outbacks listening, we need one
Oh,
in Erin, Ontario. That's where we
there
need
you go, Aaron, Ontario,
it.
guys.
So I don't have to go very far. But yeah. So so nobody buys a logo, right?
Nobody will.
DJ, what
In
is
the
it, the
end,
one thing
it
that
might
every
draw
customer
them
buys?
to it. It'll get you attention, but they're not buying that.
No.
They're not buying it.
What does every customer buy, DJ?
The experience. I think it's the experience in the end. It is the
Mhm.
experience. From the nicest hotel. I mean, come on, a hotel's a hotel until you go to a really nice hotel, and then you're like, "Holy shit, what is this?" Like, there's like people opening every door for you, and you're walking up, and they know your name, and they're grabbing your. And it's the experience. What more are they doing other than the experience? But they charge for that experience, don't they? It costs more, doesn't it? It's the experience. You got to take care of them.
Love it. What do you got to pull us out of here today, brother?
This is a great one. So again, thank you guys, everybody. We got a great week. Do we even share who we have coming on
Oh,
this
we
week?
got a killer week. We got Greg tomorrow,
Yeah.
Dean Wednesday, and then we got a special guest Thursday, and then we got Friday, and then actually on last Friday,
Thursday's great.
oh yeah, Thursday is going to be really cool. Thursday is going
Thursday's
to be
gonna be
really
fun.
cool. Should we go ahead? Tell them who's coming
Yeah,
Thursday.
yeah.
I was
So
going to keep it a secret, but
we finally got him to come with us again. Joe Lynch will be here Thursday. Can't wait. That's gonna be fun. So Joe, hopefully you're watching us. But yeah, we'll see you Thursday.
oh, and Joe's a master in this field. But
I
yeah,
can't
so
wait.
then we got Thursday, then we got Friday, wins and losses Friday.
Yep.
And next week I'll be doing the show from Blind River, Ontario, up in y'all northern section, because I'm going snowmobiling for the week with my son and a buddy.
As long as he doesn't crash and do something crazy.
And speaking of that, I actually found the footage of my crash.
Oh no!
My GoPro was actually recording when I crashed my sled last week. So I'll be sharing that with a select group of people. Maybe I'll even share it on air. But it's funny because I hit the pole and I'm like, all you see is me fly. Like you just see the tumbling. And then when it comes to a stop, all you hear is, I'm down. I'm down. I found it last night. I'm saying to my son, Brendan, come here, man. You got to see this. He's like, what is it? What is it? I go, it's me crashing. He goes, no way. I go, yeah. I see. So I play it, and then it's like, bang, bang. And I'm down. I'm down. And he starts roaring. He goes, did you really say? He goes, Dad, you're by yourself. Like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, I was talking to myself. He's like, oh, man, that's funny. So it was,
that's awesome.
It was pretty comical.
So Monday through Friday, guys, you want to catch us live, 9 till 9:30. Like and subscribe our channels. We have it's going out everywhere. But here's a good quote. Doesn't say who the quote's from. Doesn't really matter. I love it. Don't change so people will like you. Be yourself, and the right people will love the real you. Just be you, guys. Be you.
To the HPLS podcast.
Live, relevant, and high performance information, conversations, and education weekly.